What's going on, guys? Mecha Ish here from Spider-Man Legends Space Venom Build-A-Figure Wave. I have Miles Morales Spider-Man. Let's do it.
138 in progress. Prepare for launch in 3, 2.
Step out of your world and step into mine.
Welcome back to another Marvel Legends action figure review, and I have from the Space Venom Build-A-Figure Wave, Miles Morales Spider-Man. Now, this is a Spider-Man that has appeared in the Ultimate comic books along with the other teenage version of Peter Parker Spider-Man, and he has recently made his way to the Earth 616, I think after the events of the recent Secret Wars. So that's very cool to have this figure in hand. Now, I do have another Miles Morales Marvel Legends style in my collection. I'm going to show you guys in a little bit, but this is definitely an improved form and more fitting for a teenage superhero. Now, taking a look at your standard window box for the Marvel Legends single box figures, you can see the Legends series, and of course you have the Spider-Man emblem there, Build-A-Figure, Marvel's Venom, and then you have a great window view of Miles Morales Spider-Man along with alternate hands and an alternate Miles Morales unmasked head. And he also comes with the right arm of the Space Venom Build-A-Figure, which I cannot wait to build. And then you have the logo of Marvel and Spider-Man at the bottom. On one side of the box you have Miles Morales, and then on the other you have Peter Parker. Now, at the back of this box you got an image of the action figures of Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker, both posed in front of that red light. You got the Marvel Legends series logo on the top left and a little bit of a bio on the top right. With amazing agility and wall crawling skills, these young web slingers take down the bad guys. And then way at the bottom you can see the Space Venom Build-A-Figure, which I cannot wait to get to. Of course, you have the Spider-Man that is Peter Parker that I have already reviewed, so please check that out. And then you have the rest of the figures in the line that are up and coming, so make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out. Alright, let's take this Miles Morales Spider-Man outside of this box, and let's see what he's all about. Alright, here is Miles Morales Spider-Man outside of his packaging, and I love this character design for this Spider-Man here with the black and the red. That looks so cool, and you have those big, bright white eyes that are just shining on this figure. Now, of course, you have the obvious differences in the color scheme between Miles Morales and Peter Parker, but from head to toe and even the alternate hands are molded exactly the same way as that Peter Parker Ultimate Spider-Man that I reviewed in the previous video. So I'm not going to go too crazy on the sculpted detail of this figure. You can check out the other video for that, but I am going to go on to the comparisons between the two, and especially focusing on the paint applications of this awesome Spider-Man. So he does have a teenage build. He does stand at 5.5 inches in height, just like the other Spider-Man, which is befitting of a teenage superhero. So he does have the muscles there, but it's not overly muscular, and everything is smooth over, so it looks more realistic in those tights. And of course, he has the alternate unmasked Miles Morales head, which is completely different, of course, than the unmasked Peter Parker head. And we have the big right arm of the Space Venom Build-A-Figure. Alright guys, let's take a closer look at Miles Morales. So of course, this Spider-Man has the exact same head mold and sculpt as the Peter Parker Spidey, but it's just the way they painted it, which I think is a little bit cleaner than the Peter Parker Spider-Man, and I thought that was very clean. But here, look how nice and white those eyes are, all within the sculpt, and I love the paint of the red on that sculpted outline surrounding his eyes, and all of the red webbing, the thin lines that are so nice and cleanly painted all the way throughout his head, down his neck. It's mostly on the upper part of his torso, but I love the variation in the design between the thin web lines, and then you have the thicker, more solid red going up his chest and then going down his shoulders. Just looks awesome. I am a big fan of this character design. I mean, it's very simple with a lot of black and a little bit of red, but this is a prime example of how less can be more in designing a superhero, and definitely when painting an action figure. This looks amazing. I love the paint applications of that cool looking Spider-Man logo on his chest, and he has another cool logo on his back, which is a lot bigger. This looks awesome, but again, everything throughout is the same sculpted detail, same musculature. I love the separation between the red on his fingers with the web lines and then the black of his knuckles. So great job overall. This is just an awesome look for Spidey. Now, the only other major difference between this Miles Morales Spider-Man and the Peter Parker, besides the awesome costume difference, is the alternate unmasked head of Miles Morales. You see, I easily pop that head off, and then I can snap this one on. You hear a loud snap. It is nice and secure, but I love this alternate unmasked head of Miles Morales. It is such a great representation of the way he appears in the comic book. I mean, take a look at that smirk on his face, and then the sculpted detail throughout is just fantastic. I love the sculpt of his hair and all of that textured detail throughout, and the separation between the black of his hair and the brown of his flesh tone paint, which is well done. They sculpted his ears nicely, his nose, his mouth, everything looks fantastic. You can see the great paint applications of his eyes. And he too also has that golden brown eye color like Peter Parker Spider-Man had. So that is pretty cool. And then the eyebrows are also sculpted in and painted nicely on that sculpt. So such a great look. I'm having trouble figuring out which way I'm going to display the Spider-Man because this is an awesome look right here. So as you guys can see, the Miles Morales Spider-Man here comes with a bunch of alternate hands, just like Peter Parker did. He has an extra set of fisted hands, extra set of wall crawling hands, and an extra set of whipping hands. Now, just as with Peter Parker, the mold is in a way that this joint is very tight, so it takes a little bit of force. There you go. To pop that arm off, and then you just want to plug the other one right into that hole. They have long pegs that go nice and securely inside. Now, the articulation is exactly the same. I'm going to run through this quickly here. You got the head on a ball hinge, so it rotates the full 360. It has the same range of motion looking up and down. We have a rotation at the shoulder, and we have a nice extension at the hinge there that goes all the way up and all the way down like that. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, rotation at that tight wrist joint, and then we have a hinge as well. We have a beautiful ab crunch, so he can really flex all the way down, and he can arch his back a lot as well. Now we have a rotation at the waist, and then we have the same ball peg hip joints here, which can extend to the side like that. He can kick forward a bunch, and to the back not so much. It's kind of limited because of the sculpt of his bottom there. We do have a thigh cut rotation, double jointed knee, a boot cut rotation. We have a hinge at his ankle, which allows flexion all the way down, and then he can go up a little bit. It's kind of limited because of the sculpt on the top of his foot, but we do have a nice ankle pivot. So here I have Miles Morales and Peter Parker standing side by side, and this looks so cool. Of course, they share the same height, same body mold, same articulation, with the obvious differences in the color scheme of their costumes and also the alternate unmasked head sculpts. Now here I have two Miles Morales Spider-Man that I have for my collection. Now the one on the left is something I got a few years back. It wasn't a part of the proper Marvel Legends line. It was like an offshoot 6-inch scale Spider-Man line, but I picked it up because it would be the only Miles Morales Spider-Man that I would have until now. But as you can see, even though it's a little bit taller than this current version, he is way too jacked, way too muscular. If anything, it looks like an adult version of Miles Morales. So I'm so happy that Hasbro has given us an updated version that is more fitting and up to scale in your Marvel Legends collection. So there you have it, guys, my video review of the brand new Miles Morales Spider-Man from the Space Venom Build-A-Figure wave. So excited to have this updated version of Miles Morales from my collection. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up and check out my channel for other reviews I have done. And I have so many cool things coming your way, including a lot more Marvel Legend figure reviews. So make sure you all like, subscribe, comment, and share. You know what to do. Peace.